Okay, let's talk about rationalizing an expression. Well, rationalizing would just mean in mathematics that we want to get rid of a radical, which would just be a square root value, or a third, which is or any type of value that does not belong as a denominator. So we can have things like radicals, negative exponents, etc. Okay. So what did we learn about our exponential rule video? Well, we've learned that when we have a negative exponent, we want to change it from a numerator to a denominator, right? But in this case, we have a denominator, so we want to change it to a numerator. So my answer will be x. What about the next one? Well, for the next one, I can simply multiply both top and bottom by square root 2. The reason we do this is because we want to multiply the two inside square values, which would then give me the square root of 4, multiplied to square root 2. Now, if we look at the square root of 4, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is that if we find a squared value inside the square root, they can simply cancel each other out, theoretically, right? So if I do this process, I'm left with a 2. So I have 2 over 2 square root 2. Now we can actually simplify this by saying, well, 2 over 2 square root 2 over 2. I can cancel out these two 2's, right? Because when it comes to product, which means multiply, let's make a little note there. Product equals multiply. So product equals multiply. So when we have product, it's very simple to cancel out numerators and denominators. When it comes to addition, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, for the next one, we will use a process called conjugate. Conjugate. And what conjugate is, the process is we want to multiply both top and bottom by the reciprocal or the opposite of the symbol inside the parentheses. But we need to do this both top and bottom. Okay. Now you guys should be familiar with the FOIL method, which pretty much just means we multiply every single value in the parentheses with the other values in the other parentheses. So the 2 needs to multiply the 2 and the square root 2. So let's do that. Well, what is 2 times 2? That's 4. What is 2 times square root 2? That gives me plus 2 square root 2. And then we have negative square root 2 multiplied 2. That gives me negative 2 square root 2. And then we have the square root of 4. Negative the square root of 4. And we want to place this over the 4. Needs to multiply also with everything in the parentheses. So that gives me 8 plus this square root of 4 square root 2. Very simple. I can cancel out these two terms. If I set these ones equal to x, I get x minus x, which is equal to 0. But in this case, we just have 2 square root 2 minus 2 square root 2, which is also 0. And the square root of 4, as we've learned earlier, would be 2. So my final answer would be 8 plus 4 square root 2 over 4 minus 2, which is 2. Now I can break this one up even a little bit simpler. I can say, well, 8 over 2 plus 4 square root 2 over 2. Well, 4 over 2 is, or 8 over 2 is 4. And I can simplify these two. So our final answer would be 4 plus 2 square root 2.